Yes, I wanted to give you guys a report on what happened on July 7th. We had the workshop for the bond issue. There was a lot of things that came up, and there's also some things that were buried that you will know about today. One of the things is the $70 million bond that they're asking you to vote for is actually not $70 million. The interest on that over the same amount of time, that bond issue in reality was $140 million of our tax dollars going into that. There's also another problem with the $50 million. There's a assembly bill or a prop coming on a state level. It's AB 2235 for $117 billion for construction of the new schools. If that bond does not pass, we're going to be $50 million short. And it came out in the meeting that if they can't get their $50 million from the state, they're going to come back and ask you for another $50 million, which is actually 110. So between 140 and 100, that you're talking about a $240,000 bill. The other thing too is this money is also allocated to several different projects, and they try to prioritize with the high school being the number one priority, but they have what they call attachments. I call it pork barrels, because the thing is that not all of that money will be going into the high school itself. Before I give you those numbers, I also want to tell you that high school that they're going to build on Martin and 26 is only 57 acres. Madera South is 88 acres. The amount of money that they're asking for is going to be a bone barrel school. They do not have the monies to sit there and put in their own swimming pool. They don't have the monies to put in their own stadiums. They don't have the money to build a gymnasium with all the whistles and blowers in it. And I'm going to tell you something that bothers me about this. The thing is, this school's going in on the east end. And I want you to really think about it. If you look at the east end and the west end, the east end is always getting shorted. Why would we build them a high school when they do not have the same facilities and access as the other two high schools? It doesn't make sense that two high schools got swimming pools, they got a stadium, and you got to clear to the other side of town and go to school over there, and they're not going to build a swimming pool or a stadium or the things that they need to have a full functional. Once that gets going, they will have to come back and ask for another bond in order to put that. So now we're at 240. Let's say they need another 20. Well, the 20 is a 40. Now we're looking at a $280 million high school that we're being told it's only $70 million. In the last three projects between Parkwood, Mountain View, and South, they had it came in on time and under budget, and they have $3 million that is sitting there, that's just sitting there, that they could have been using for these projects that they're wanting to take the money out of the bonds. They want to give you some ideas, because it's right here in black and white. While the facilities have been well maintained, aging classrooms must be upgraded to the 21st century safety, education, technological standards. The local school measure will allow the district to improve quality of the school facilities of education and provide to our local students. Which means, in that language, that part of that $70 million gets to go to the other 27 schools within the district. And they have some pretty hefty prices. Just the lighting alone that they want to do at the stadium is $1.8 million. The thing is, they have another project over at the South High they want to finish. They came in under budget. One of the maintenance buildings not completed. use your money that you've already collected in order to fix that. Don't take it away from the high school. The other thing is that they have several projects. Now, if you look at this graph, this year's for the new school. Now, you passed a bond in 2006 for a new elementary school. What year is this? 2014. They haven't even purchased the property yet. They're wanting to get the shovels in the ground before this bond issue comes to you to vote on. So they could say, well, why didn't they build that elementary school in the last 10 years or getting started? They haven't even secured the property yet. One of the things I'm worried about is that this AB 2235 does not pass, and you give them a blank check for $70 million, and they have all kinds of things they could use for it. There is no set a limit amount. They could use the entire $70 million on the other 27 schools. There is no dollar limit. I find that very, very scary, especially if we can't get the $50 million and we have to come back to you and ask for another $50 million to get the bare bones high school. I think that we should be waiting, like I have said, till 2016 when everybody's economically recovered, and not ask. If we're going to ask for a bond, let's don't ask for one where you're going to get a less in quality high school. If we wait 2 years, we could sit there and actually ask for the amount of money to make it a school that will sit there and be the pride of the district with everything in it. I think the East End, with its growth that's going on there, that's the type of high school they need. The other thing too, remember when I told you there's only 57 acres? If you look at south, it's 88 acres. That means that high school is going to be smaller. It's going to be smaller, and it's going to have less bells and whistles, and it's going to have less educational opportunities for the kids on that end of town that's been shortchanged for a very, very long time. It's time to put them on top of the rack instead of on the bottom. Now, most of you know that I was the only trustee that pushed very, very hard and was very, very public for Prop 30. The reason for that is because I knew there was an economic stimulus package for our school district to get us on the rebound, which we are doing right now, and we are doing very, very well. The problem with this bond, what happens is instead of going into recovery, we end up going into huge amounts of debt, up to $240 million. Now, they say, oh, well, the population could grow, and we can spread it out. Well, I got a little upset again when they had mentioned that. First of all, you'd have to get 10,000 people to move over here to spread it out to where it was equally, and that still wouldn't be enough. Because the thing is you got to remember they dropped those developer fees. If you're looking at $240 million, how much is those developers putting in their pocket and not putting into the school system? We are going to sit there and end up flipping the entire bill. The other thing, too, is that I'm not going to roll on that too much. But the thing is, I forgot to mention in the last video, the housing prices have gone up over there. There was a savings of $16,000 to $20,000 for each one of those homes. Do you think those homes got discounted $16,000 to $20,000? Do you think the school district got that $16,000 or $20,000? Nope, the developers did. Another addition to the millions of dollars that a few trustees had decreased it by 50%. I want to let you know that at the time it was President Rick Arredondo, it was Trustee Rodriguez, Trustee Seibert, and it was Michael Salvador, who is the current president now, that voted 6 or 7 months ago to defeat those fees. What really pissed me off with the smoking mirrors, they tried to sit there and say that the developer fees that we have collected was at the new rate, which was an increased amount. That was smoking mirrors. Those numbers are from the old rate of collection. If that there was true, that number would only be half. But no more smoking mirrors. We need to be the truth, and we need to have the transparency. Now, when you see that $70 million, I want you to understand that they're going to get another $70 million in interest. That's exactly what the bonds people told us. They get dollar for dollar. So that $70 million we're going to pay interest on and pay those bond people $70 million just for the privilege to spending the $70 million. If we don't get the $50 million, it could take a long time. Now I'm going to ask you, if you really want to know more about this, they have the Madera Unified School District Bond Presentation. This is what was given to us on Monday. Now, what you could do is, if you want to ask me any questions on what was said, if you want a synopsis of what's in here, because I have a lot of numbers written on here, you could contact me through message on email or on this Facebook, and I will answer your questions for you. But don't sit there and believe when you see this bond for $70 million, that's all it's going to cost you, because it could cost you $240 million, and you get a second-rate high school. Thank you very much, and please message your questions to me, because this issue here is bigger than most of the issues that we've run into, because not only is it a school issue, it's also a social equalization issue for the kids on the east side to have the same quality of fare and education as we do at Madera High and South High. Thank you.